Hi, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about a very important topic, and that is about glucosamine. So a few days back, I'd actually posted a poll on social media about glucosamine. And, I had asked, which of the following supplement is excellent for joint health. And I had put various options like multivitamin, protein powder, glucosamine, and even calcium. Okay. And I got mixed answers. But the real answer is glucosamine. So having said that, let's talk about what is this glucosamine all about. Okay. And glucosamine is actually naturally found in humans, but it is also found in other animals like shellfish. It can be also found in animal bones, and in certain fungi also it is found. Okay, so glucosamine actually, if you see, the name itself suggests that it consists of glucose and amine. So it's an amino sugar which consisting of glucose plus glutamine. Okay, so that is the thing to understand, that it is an amino sugar, and this is a precursor for the cartilage which is there in the bone. Okay, and actually it is a precursor of a compound called as mucopolysaccharides. Okay, it is also called as glycosaminoglycans. Okay, and there are four types of this glycosaminoglycans. Okay, the first one is hyaluronic acid, second is a keratan sulfate, third is heparin sulfate, and fourth is chondroitin sulfate. And they have various benefits, okay, on different parts of our body. But if you go into the details, they are particularly having an anti-inflammatory action. They improve the cell hydration, especially the hyaluronic acid, especially it is very, very good topically. Okay. And I have personally used hyaluronic acid, over my skin along with vitamin C, and it has absolutely fantastic benefits. Okay, so it has these benefits: hyaluronic acid, anti-inflammatory action. It also has and it's like a blood thinner, so therefore it can be used for thinning the blood. It helps in wound repair. Okay, and it also has an anticoagulation action as well, and it is also helpful for it actually regulates the cell growth and even the proliferation, and therefore it can be actually helpful in certain cancers as well. Okay, and yes, chondroitin sulfate also is very beneficial for cartilage and all that. Okay, so let's talk about overall what are the benefits of glucosamine. Now, the first and the foremost important use of glucosamine is in joint health. This is extremely critical, very, very important use of glucosamine, for which this is used in majority of the cases. Okay, so how does it help in joint pains? Okay, the first thing is that it has a potent anti-inflammatory action on the joints. Okay, so if there is, you see, osteoarthritis, if you are talking about itis, that means there is an inflammation. So the joint inflammation, it is going to reduce, and it actually suppresses the pathway, inflammatory pathway, especially at the joint levels. Okay, and in fact, because of this anti-inflammatory action, it can be beneficial in type 2 diabetes as well. Okay, so that is how it helps. First is the anti-inflammatory action at the joint level. Second thing, it helps actually the production of synovial fluid. So if you see osteoarthritis, the synovial fluid gets lost. So this actually helps in regeneration of synovial fluid. Okay, and if the fluid is there, then there is space between the joints, and the friction between the two bones is avoided. Okay, that is the second thing. Third thing is that it actually helps in the formation of the cartilage. Okay, so typically the chondroitin sulfate part, it is actually going to help for the formation of the cartilage, and that is the reason that the friction between the two bones doesn't happen, and typically they will see that the pain, okay, reduces, the range of movement of the joints, that actually improves. Particularly, this is very, very helpful from a preventive point of view in athletes, because in athletes, the movements at the level of joints which are happening are massive, and glucosamine has a preventive role in that. So if you are an athlete doing vigorous workouts, especially high intensity workout, make sure that you are taking glucosamine on a regular basis. I take it on a regular basis, especially on the day when I am doing high intensity or any other workout also, I'll be taking glucosamine on that day. Okay, so this is the first important benefit, osteoarthritis, and it can be also used in rheumatoid arthritis. But yes, it is not useful in gout. Okay, because the cause is different, because there is deposition of crystals in which glucosamine is not going to help as such. Okay, so osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis, okay, because of its anti-inflammatory action and supporting the synovial fluid as well as regeneration of the cartilage, that is how it is going to help in osteoarthritis. Okay, this other benefit is because of wound healing. Okay, it helps in wound healing. So if you see, there was a study done, and in fact, they saw that the CRP levels, drops down by almost 23%. Okay. And that is how it actually helps through the anti-inflammatory action in wound healing. And this anti-inflammatory action also helps, okay, to control the sugar levels in type 2 diabetes. And that is why it is very important, okay, those people who are taking glucosamine, especially on a higher dosages, they should definitely check their sugar levels and monitor the sugar levels on a regular basis, because the anti-diabetic medications should not lead you, along with glucosamine, should not lead you to hypoglycemia. That is very, very important. Because of its anti-inflammatory action, okay, it is also very helpful in conditions where there is inflammation, like inflammatory bowel disease. And if you see the intestines, they are actually made up of glucosaminoglycans, okay? And that's the reason that it is very helpful for inflammatory bowel disease. It actually helps to restore the integrity of the intestine, okay? Because glucosamine is a precursor for glucosaminoglycans, okay? That is how it helps. And of course, it also has an anti-inflammatory action, which can be beneficial, okay, in decreasing the inflammation. So it is good in inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, or any other inflammatory gut conditions, if you have. All right. Thirdly, glucosamine actually supports the mast cell function, okay, and the mast cells actually produce this product called as heparin, okay, and heparin, everybody knows that it's a blood thinner. So it has, benefits in, cardiovascular diseases. Like if you have hypertension, then definitely it has, benefits in that. And also, if you have other cardiac problems, then, because of this heparin, it can support the heart health as well. Okay. It also is a precursor for keratan sulfate, and keratan sulfate actually is very important for corneal integrity. Okay. So it is, speculated that it has some benefits in glaucoma, but although these results are not very well documented, and some studies actually might have shown that probably it might worsen glaucoma. So it's not a real benefit as such, but it's still in the experimental stage whether it is really useful in glaucoma or not. Okay. Now the other benefit, which is very important, okay, it's that glucosamine is a specific neurological anti-inflammatory. It has neurological anti-inflammatory action, okay, and that is the reason that it is actually used, okay, in conditions like multiple sclerosis. All right. And it also has a very good result, okay, typically in vascular migraines. Okay. So because it has a neurological anti-inflammatory, specific neurological anti-inflammatory action, okay, it can be used in multiple sclerosis, it can be used in vascular migraines, especially those who are resistant, okay, to other forms of treatment. Okay, glucosamine can actually work in those cases. It reduces the cluster headache also and vascular headaches also, and in some cases it can be used for seizures also. But however, these results are also not very confirmatory. So these are still into the experimental stages, but these are not proven. But yes, it can be used in migraine for sure. Okay. Now, having said that, said about these benefits, what is the dose of glucosamine that we should take? Okay. So typically we can take up to 1.5 grams to 3 grams. Okay. Maximum 3 grams in a day. All right. So you can take, let's say, 500 milligrams in 3 divided doses. In the sense 500 milligram in the morning, afternoon, evening, something like that. All right. Or, you can also take 1000 milligrams, TDS 3 times in a day. Which are the different forms of glucosamine which are available in the market? So the most commonest form, and the most commonest form which has been studied also, is glucosamine sulphate. Okay. So this is the most commonest form. The other is glucosamine hydrochloride. And the third is N-acetyl glucosamine. Okay. Now this N-acetyl glucosamine is typically used in inflammatory bowel disease, but otherwise for joint health, and other conditions, then, it is either sulphate or hydrochloride. Now, hydrochloride actually has better penetration in the joints, and therefore it is, better suited for joint health. But otherwise, the most commonest form which is used in the market is actually glucosamine sulphate. All right. So I hope this video has helped you and helped you clarify about the uses of glucosamine. But yes, if you have, osteoarthritis, okay, or rheumatoid arthritis, and if you are actually struggling with joint pains, if you're not, able to walk for prolonged hours, you get pains and you have to take rest, then glucosamine can be the game changer. Okay, I have seen patients who had been advised knee replacements, and we have been able to save their knees. Okay, So I hope this video helps. And if you really want to explore with the glucosamine, especially if you have osteoarthritis, do start using it. I'm sure it is going to help you. Thank you very much.